Alright, here's the first attempt at a moto vlog for me on the 2017 Yamaha FZ-09. Key on, neutral. One cool fact about this bike is that if you have the kickstand down, it will not start. Well, it'll start, it won't move, it'll stall. One of the things that attracted me the most about this bike, obviously the power, but also the riding style. The riding style is kind of like a dirt bike. I'm not leaned over, I've got plenty of room, I can play around, it's very maneuverable. So if you're worried that you're going to be too much like a crotch rocket street bike, bent over, that is not the case. And if you're taller, it's probably even more unlike the case. I'm about 5'9", so this bike is like perfect on me. Got it in B mode right now. Still gotta get used to it. I started off on a Harley Sportster 1200, so the weight obviously is probably the biggest difference. Also the clutch, you really don't even have to pull in, I don't even think that's an inch. Looking for some people to follow. Let's see. I don't know where they are, but by the pharmacy, they said. Let's try. I don't know. Alright, I'm just gonna park right here because I don't know where they are. So maybe they'll drive to me. So yeah, everything's kind of basic. It's got the traction control on it. You got 1, 2, and then you have off, so you can adjust the tightness or the aggressiveness of that traction control. The blinker, it's not an auto turn. None of the reviews that I saw had an auto turn blinker that I could find out. All you need to do is just click in. You don't need to like switch it back in the middle. When did I get it? I got it last Saturday. Almost have 300 miles on it, so. So it's got a current MPG for one of your modes right here. And that is at that exact moment. So if you're going 100 miles an hour, you're probably not going to have that good of MPG. But, oh, I can actually see them now. But if you were going slow, you'll get a good MPG. Or decent. I should say decent. There they were. There's my girlfriend. Don't hit the car. Yeah. You know, my back brakes are actually squeaking too. What the fuck? I don't think that that's a warranty thing though. But I guess I could try and call. You do spend $10,000 on a new motorcycle. I don't think that your fucking back brakes should be squeaking less than a week after. What are you doing? Come on. Oh my god. She looked wide, now you're going in. I'd say I average probably around 45 miles to the gallon, which is, I think if you check on the Yamaha dealership website, that's pretty much what they estimate you to. I pretty much just drive in B mode. When I get a little funky, then I go to A mode. But one thing about this bike that every single one that reviews this bike says is it's got fucking power, and holy shit, it has power. The first time I turned it in A mode, I wanted to, you know, I didn't want to stick my toes in the pool. I wanted to just jump right in, and I hammered it, and I did a fucking power wheelie for about a quarter mile, and I shit myself. I turned right back around, and, you know, when I got home, my mom's like, you're back so soon, and I'm like, yeah, I am. So, gotta get used to the throttle. I do understand how some people say the throttle twitchiness. It's not in B mode, it's in standard and A mode. That is where the throttle gets, not twitchy I'd say, just very sensitive. Oh, my rubber band broke. But it cruises no problem. I've had this bike for not even a week and I love it. But yeah, plenty of power. And one thing, if you're looking for a low-end speed bike, this is the bike for you. If you are looking to go 160 to 200 miles an hour, this bike is not for you because it doesn't go that fast. It only goes 130 to 140. But if you want to beat those motorcycles that go that fast off the line, maybe 0 to 60 or 0 to 80, this is the bike for you. One of my buddies is actually thinking about getting a street bike. He said like a Gixxer 600 or 750, and I personally don't like the street bikes that are totally leaned over like that, and I know that's the style that he was kind of looking for. He's also never driven a bike, well, he's driven a bike, he's never owned a bike, so I also told him not to get something that he's gonna kill himself at 200 miles an hour at. So the other night I hung out with him and I was like, dude, stop talking about this Gixxer shit, you need to fucking ride my thing. He jumps on it in B mode, comes back, he just says, I want it, I want one. So if you're thinking about getting like a total street bike, and there's a little tiny bit of you thinking about getting not even a Yamaha, even just a bike in general, just try test driving one. See if a dealership will let you, or I don't know, try to find someone that has one. Because I did 2 months of research before I bought this thing, and I knew I was gonna like it. There was not 1% of my little mind that was thinking I wasn't gonna like this. I did enough research on it to think about the pros and the cons, and if I could get over those cons, and I could. It's not many cons, but there are still cons about this bike. But yeah, when I went to the dealership, I've never ridden one of these. I've never ridden a sport bike. I've ridden dirt bikes. I had a little Honda Rebel Cruiser, which is also on my my videos. I kind of restored it, made a little bobber, so it was kind of fun. Then I had a Harley Sportster 1200. I thought I was in love with that. Turned out I wasn't. I just wanted something with more power. But it was a great cruiser. If I'm ever able to have two bikes, I probably would get a Harley for a cruiser, and then something like this for a little bit more aggressiveness on the road. But I went to the dealership, I'm like, hey, can I test drive this? I'm thinking about buying it from you. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, we don't let people test drive these bikes. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't let people test drive them? What if they spend $10,000 on a motorcycle, drive off a quarter mile, and they fucking hate it? And then they gave me this bullshit where, you know, I could start signing the papers, stop while I'm signing the papers, and then if I don't like it, just cancel all the paperwork. I think that's kind of bullshit. There she is. That's some bullshit, but still, I didn't even test drive it. I knew I was gonna love it. But if you're an impulse buyer like me, when it came to getting a bike and spending this much money on something, I made sure I did my research. And I was very conflicted actually to spend less money on the 2014 to 2016 models, save, you know, $1,000 to $3,000. And after just a lot of research, I decided to cough up the cash and just go with the new one. The suspension, I heard, is better. I've never ridden an old one, so I can't say for sure. These things are positives, and it's all based on opinions. but I've heard the suspension is a little bit crappy. The tail, the fender is hideous, which I think it's hideous. I've seen them. This one isn't that much better looking, but it doesn't kill me to look at it, and I'm not going to replace it right now because I can spend my money on better things. But ooh, neutral, there it is. But yeah, not many negatives about this bike. Anybody of you is in South Florida, that's Marco Island right there. This is Tamiami Trail, Old 41, which leads to Fort Lauderdale. But the old ones are very nice too. I do like the headlight better on this one. The headlight on here kind of does suck. I've seen a lot of reviews, and at first I was like, oh, this doesn't suck. You know, people are just being too fucking picky about it. But when you're in a city, kind of like what I'm in, you know, I'm in Naples Estero area, so it's a very city area. So there's always lights on. It doesn't really bother me. But when you go down a back road, it sucks. When there's no lights and it's just your light. What I think what Yamaha should have done is whatever this high beam is, that should have been the regular. If they would have done that as the regular light, it would have been perfect. But it's really weird. They cut it like a cake is the best way that I would phrase it. You can only see a certain amount of distance in front of you. And it's a really skinny and narrow area that they cut the headlight pretty much. They chopped it. But I do love the look. The look of it looks very, very nice compared to the other ones.